Hello and welcome to this special segment in CNBC TV 18. The Indian infrastructure space has seen renewed interest from both domestic and foreign companies. One such company is Aecom, which is based in the United States. It has also participated in several mega projects in India. And we are now being joined by Michael Burke, who is the chairman and CEO of this company, who's here to talk to us about the future plans of Aecom in the Indian infrastructure space. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. You have had a very good FY16 in terms of revenues. I guess around 15% growth that we had seen in revenues. Going forward, can you give us an idea about the kind of targets that you have set for yourself regarding revenue from projects in India?
Certainly. Well, first of all, for our fiscal year 2016, which ends at the end of September, we're expecting a 25% growth in our revenue. And then our fiscal year 2017, we're expecting a 30% growth in our revenue in India. So India has been very prosperous for us, and we see the growth in front of us even greater than the growth behind us due to the very strong focus of Prime Minister Modi's government to focus on infrastructure development.
Where will this revenue growth be coming from? Can you, give us an idea about the kind of projects that you are doing here and from where you would be seeing most of these revenues coming from?
Yeah, so we participate in a broad array of projects across the country. In fact, we're participating in more than half of all the major infrastructure projects being advanced by the Indian government. So we are involved in transportation projects, in particular 9 of the major metro systems in the major cities of the country we're involved with. We are involved in smart cities. We had a 100% success rate by winning all three of our bids on the new smart cities project. So we see growth in smart cities. Ports, we are doing the program management for the new Seabird naval base here in India, and we expect to see a lot of development in the port arena. So all of the areas of infrastructure that form the basis of Prime Minister Modi's infrastructure vision are the type of projects that we excel in and the type of projects where we expect to see growth.
That's a fairly diverse and impressive pipeline of projects that you have here. Can you also give us in terms of the kind of amount that these projects involve, just to give us an idea about what kind of going forward, what kind of revenues you expect from these projects?
Yeah, so the type of projects, we participate in all different aspects of it, from design to program management. But of all the projects we're involved in, they have a total capital budget of $60 billion. Now, of course, that's not our revenue, but the entire capital expenditure of these projects are in excess of $60 billion. That number is double what it was last year.
Right. Let me now go into specifics. I was going through your portfolio, and on smart cities, you are involved both in greenfield and brownfield development of smart cities. Can you share with us the kind of experience that you have had in greenfield as well as brownfield smart cities development? And till now, have you seen any on-ground, any development that has happened on both greenfield and brownfield smart cities?
So we've had a number of experiences, both in developing the master plans for the 3 cities that I mentioned that we recently won. But the one that's most advanced is Dholera, and the Dholera project is under construction now. The enabling infrastructure works are being put in place, and we expect to have that project completed in late 2018. So that's the one project that is the most advanced of all of the smart cities, but the pace is picking up dramatically. You heard the government announce another 27 cities that will participate in the Smart Cities program. We expect to bid on a large number of those.
But that will be a totally different kind of experience, brownfield smart cities versus a greenfield smart city.
Yes, it is. And our experience is valuable in both. We have done a broad array of work on greenfield development in new cities across Asia, in particular in China and Hong Kong new territories. But also we work in some of the more established metropolitan markets of the world, New York and London. So we have a mix of greenfield experiences, entirely new cities, as well as rethinking infrastructure in established cities like New York, London, and Hong Kong.
Right. As far as the Indian infrastructure story is concerned, there have been a lot of numbers floating around. One of them says that we have a $2 trillion infrastructure development plan. As a company operating in this space in India, what are the key challenges that you have faced, and what do you think should be done to address those key challenges?
Well, the challenges here are not significantly different than the challenges we see elsewhere in the world. You see the studies in the United States. The estimates are that we have a $1.6 trillion infrastructure gap in the United States. So the numbers are widely vary, and people have different opinions on them. But the infrastructure gap here in India is obvious. But we're seeing a focus now of the most senior level officials of the government to address infrastructure. And so that's what it requires, is that we have the right focus now. Now the next big step is, how do we pay for it? There's no city, no country in the world that has too much money for too much infrastructure. There's always a shortage of funds necessary to implement these projects. And so now what we need to see in India is the public sector and the private sector coming together to look at creative and innovative solutions to bridge that funding gap. And there is plenty of private sector money through the public-private partnership model that's been successful elsewhere in the world. And I think having enabling infrastructure in India that will allow us to implement those projects is going to be